What does it mean to be dominant? I've played at the highest level. I've received the highest award.
Thank you.
But those things did not make me dominant. On this show, I want to interview people from various backgrounds and careers to see what made them dominant. That's why I decided to partner up with Mission Winnow. Together, we want to promote progress and achievement while sharing real stories of struggle and success. We want to acknowledge the challenges in front of us, but we also want to pivot towards improvement and positivity.
Everything is going to work out.
We are the dominant ones. We dunk on the world. We don't let the world dunk on us.
So, fourth quarter playoffs, Hawks Celtics. You and Larry Bird go off like has never been seen before. What goes through your mind? And was there a moment where you were like, do you know that's the path you guys are now on, or is it just every moment takes it?
When you're playing against a guy like that who is legendary, that's why they call him Larry Legend. You're trying to match each other's will.
Right.
You had two great players who didn't want to lose.
Right.
And
you'd had a brilliant game.
Yeah.
He had a bad game up until not bad, but
he had an okay game
fine,
up until that fourth quarter.
And that
he
fourth
had 12
quarter
points going in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And it goes back to his prediction of we had our opportunity that he's guaranteeing a win. But I think the thing that really got him going, Kevin Willis, I never forget this. I'm standing in the middle. Kevin's to my right, Larry's to my left. And he reaches across me, put his finger in Larry's chest. He said, "Don't let this so-and-so score any more tonight." I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Hat on top, cause we think excellent. Frames on straight, cause I see excellent. Dress for success, cause I be excellent. Everything we do, everything we do.
What's up, Kevin? Hey. What's going on, man? Good to see you, buddy. Kelly, thanks again for coming.
Absolutely. Great seeing you again.
Second time I've seen you,
Yep.
so I'm looking forward to sitting down and talking to you. You know, we have this show called The Dominant Ones.
Right.
And one of the things we love to ask is questions of early in people's lives about what it took or what their thought process was as far as what you want to do in life. And kind of want to know where acting really came into play. How old were you when you first got into acting?
I mean, my dad was a congressman, so he was a politician. There's some acting involved in that. I don't know if that's a surprise to you. Yeah.
No, not a surprise at all.
And my mom was a singer, never professionally, but she was a singer. And my grandfather played the mandolin, and we sang as a family. We lived in Oregon. We drive over the mountain from Portland to Central Oregon to see my family, and we would always just sing. So there was something about the arts that was always central to my family, and being a politician's son, I was sort of comfortable being in front of people. So there was an ease there. But even with that, there was no one in my family that was an actor. And it took me through high school. I knew I wanted to be an actor probably from the time I was in like 5th grade. And I did all the plays I could. And I wasn't able to work up the nerve to tell my family that I wanted to be an actor until a senior year of high school. I told my biology teacher in high school before I told my parents.
I wonder how that went over.
You know, my dad says now it went over. What I saw was great and supportive, and I still think it had something to do with my dad could have been voted out of office every 2 years, so he didn't have a lot of job security.
Right.
So maybe the family was kind of used to that idea, so maybe they could grapple with me never knowing when I'm going to get a job. But my dad still says that when he told me, he was like, "Okay, that's great," and then went in the other room and threw up. I don't know if that's true.
He wasn't very happy about it.
No, he was nervous for me. But they just their point was always, well, then can I swear on the show? We're not gonna. We don't.
You can do whatever.
All right, no. The point was that you're gonna work for it. Like you're not gonna just be a dilettante actor. You're not gonna call yourself an actor and just sort of walk through life. You're gonna work at it. You're gonna find out. You're gonna learn what it takes to actually create a character. You're gonna learn about the business end of things. You're gonna learn, and you're gonna work.
Well, it's more than just acting. You got to learn the business of acting too. And so I can appreciate what he was saying because it's not an easy business to break into.
No, well, it's the hardest part of it. Sort of always looking back on it, the hardest part was just getting into the door. Like, how do you get into a play? How do you get an agent? How do you? It's just there's no A plus B equals C. There's no path. It's you sort of by osmosis you find your way there.
A lot of actors, they try to do it on their own. They try to negotiate their deals or trying to find an opportunity. You got to have some type of representation to get you in the door a lot of times. But you got to be persistent. You got to be willing to do the work as well.
Yeah. And I mean, Bill Murray apparently famously just has a phone number and a voice box, a voicemail box. But he's Bill Murray. The rest of us need an agent.
Right.
But it's. It was hard, and it took me a long time to get any paid work, at all. But I kept trying to work at it.
What your first big role as a non-professional?
I guess I don't know if there was one big role. It was that at a certain point in high school, I realized that I was getting the opportunity to play bigger roles, the roles that sort of carried the plays. And that was one of the first clues that I wasn't crazy to want to be an actor, but the people in charge of casting these plays was thinking, oh, this kid's got something. And then the first big role, I played Old King Cole in The Trial of Mother Goose, which you can imagine was a showstopper.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
a major role.
It was a major role. Yeah, no, my chorus teacher in grade school wrote a play that all the kids could be in, and there were parts for everybody. And the citizens of Fairyland decided to sue Mother Goose for defamation of character, and I was Old King Cole played the judge. Yeah.
That's interesting.
And it is. The only thing that was really cool about that was that it was the first time I remember I forgot a line or something and I improvised and the crowd reacted. Like they reacted to something that I did that no one else had written, and I was like, oh, something's going on here. It was when I kind of figured I learned a little bit more about acting. Like you can do something in the moment that is purely spontaneous, and you might have an effect on people, and that was like catnip to me.
And I can just imagine a lot of the producers and writers love an actor with a little creativity. Can improvise at times where when you get in a little trouble or you forget a line, and you can improvise, and it seems like it's part of the script.
Yeah, they love it when you forget lines. No, I think that's true with some. It depends. Like on Billions, everything is scripted. Even things that seem extemporaneous are completely scripted. We don't screw around with the lines at all. But on a lot of shows, they do encourage that. And sometimes, there's a take where there could be a take where you screw something up and something hilarious happens. Like Roy Scheider in Jaws when he's like, "We're going to need a bigger boat." That was improvised, or Harrison Ford when he's in the first Raiders of the Lost Ark when that guy comes and he's got the sword and he's doing all this and he's just like screw it.
Right.
That was because they had this whole choreographed fight, but he was just tired because they'd done it so many times. So almost as a joke, he just was like, screw it, and that made it. And it was better than anything they could have done. So, but even beyond actually improvising words, just being alive in the moment and being able to be sort of spontaneous in the way you deliver a line or something is probably kind of.
So at this point is when you really knew that this was your path.
Yeah.
At that moment, because you always have this defining moment when you say, "I'm in the right field."
Yeah.
This is my passion.
Right.
And that's what helps you or push you to even work even harder at it.
Dominique Wilkins just told me good form. I'm done.
Well, tell me about how you got the role Dollar Bill on Billions.
How I got Dollar Bill? Okay, I almost blew it. I came this close to blowing it. I went in for. I was first called in to audition for a different role, and it went well, but it wasn't a good fit for them or something, and they called me back for this character called Dollar Bill. And the first role was going to be recurring, so I knew it was going to be around a lot. This one didn't say that; it just said guest star. Mm-hmm. And there were like 3 lines in the pilot, and I was kind of like, you know, I'm past that in my career. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pass. Mm-hmm. And then I thought over the weekend, I was like, I don't know, Dollar Bill. It's kind of a fun nickname. The cheapest man in America. They've thought about this character. There's something to it, mm-hmm. and the people involved, Kaufman and Levine, and Damien and Paul and all these mm-hmm. people. It's like, all right, let me go in. I changed my mind. If you can get me in still. Mm-hmm. And they were like, you come later today. This is the last day mm-hmm. on Monday. And then I got it. But I came like that close to losing the best part I've ever had.
Because you thought, hey, you know, it's not a big role, and do I really want to waste my time?
And it wasn't, yeah. And it just, at a certain point, I just was like, you know, I'm not looking for 3-line parts that have no arc. I mm-hmm. want to have a character. I want to play something. I'm never gonna get. I hope that I'm always getting better too. But
mm-hmm.
To flex your muscles, your acting muscles, and to grow, you want to play characters that mm-hmm. have stories.
But your characters turn out to be a pretty important character. It's a fun character, you know, and so
it's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So it worked out, you know. And sometimes things start out small, and you mm-hmm. really believe in it, you work it. Turns out to something very special, and seems to me that's what that character has turned out to be.
Well, thank you, and I mean I'm proud of it too. I'm proud that it's grown, and I have to believe that if they hadn't liked those first small things, that it probably wouldn't have grown. Mm-hmm. It could have easily been cut. So I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be part of this show because it's such a good team.
Well, it's one of my favorite shows, and I watch it religiously.
That's great.
And I'm gonna tell you the reason why is because we met the first time.
Yeah.
So I really started to get more involved. And it's really cool when you know people on the show.
Right.
It makes it that much more special.
Well, also, you were referenced in season 1.
That's right.
Frank Hart's actor. Frank Hart.
I remember that. And that's what really caught my first interest in Billions is that reference in first. I think it was the first couple of shows, wasn't it?
I think it was maybe episode 2.
Episode 2, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But it was really early on, and it was that great moment where he was talking. They were sitting in the DA's office, and he was talking about something that had gone well or something, and he was like, Dominique all day, and then everyone's looking at him like, the hell are you talking about? And then he's like, Wilkins, like as if they thought it was weird because they didn't. He was like, "Come on, you just know who I'm talking about, and you're gonna understand." And they're like, "No, that's just inappropriate behavior." Right. But it was great. It was great.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because I had people, man, they just referenced you on Billy. Like,
oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I went back and saw that part. Like, oh,
right.
That's
here
cool.
we go. I'll give that a shot.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. So if you had to go back, and tell your younger self, what would you tell them? What would you do different?
I would have listened more thoroughly to my dad's advice about the business end of things. Mm-hmm. The first thing I would tell myself, I guess, is hang in there. You're going to be fine. Your 30s are going to be, you're going to be fine. You're going to get through it, and you're going to make a living. And that would have saved me a lot of angst. But I think what I would have done differently is focused more on what the career was, not just the art of it, and I think that probably would have moved me along more quickly.
Well, I can tell you, you had a great career, on this show, and I'm looking every other week to see what's new. So
good.
It's been a fun series to watch, and so I know, moving forward in your life, you're looking to do even more big stuff like this, but this is a great launching pad.
Oh, I love
for something bigger than yourself. So it's a wonderful show. So definitely, I have to give you a lot of kudos for that role because everybody can't play that role. Everybody can. You got to have a little humor. You got to be a little loose. You know, you got to be, you know, really witty.
Yeah.
You know, to play a role like that. So
you can't be afraid to be disliked either.
Yeah. Because your role is disliked.
It's
you know
disliked. I mean, people
disliked.
love him, but they also are like, oh no, he's an asshole.
Yeah.
But
that's what makes
fun.
it good. That's what makes good TV, man.
I meet people sometimes, and they get a little freaked out because they're like, "Oh, I've never seen you smile before." Like, I'm an easygoing guy, and I like people, and I'll laugh with people, and they're like, "I've literally never seen Dollar Bill smile. You're freaking me out right now." So
well, it's that character too.
It's fun to play something that's opposite of yourself.
Yeah. So again, for me, it's just a fun series to watch, and I'm gonna always continue to watch it. Last question I want to ask you is, you know, I look at your career, and you have to have some type of dominance to get to the level that you've gotten to. And one of the questions I ask everybody, what is your definition of dominance?
It's interesting. I struggle with that word sometimes because I'm not the type of person who wants to dominate people. But I think that dominating in your field, to me, is about, I know this sounds sort of counterintuitive, but I think it's about playing team ball. Like, you can dominate, you can create a better piece, dominate, put all your skills to the best use, to dominate your skills in a way.
Well, you're absolutely right, because most people think that dominance means you're dominating others.
It's not about putting...
It's not about putting your hand on somebody else and holding them down. It's about creating something special for yourself that, you know, family, friends, nobody thought you could do.
Yeah.
But you put your focus and all your energies on crafting and moving forward in a direction where most people said, you know, you're crazy. That's not something you should do. But when you put your mind to something, there's nothing that you can't accomplish. As long as you stay focused, you work hard at it. That, to me, is dominance, because it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time.
And incremental. It's like dominating the moment and then dominating the next moment. And it's just, I think that's right. It's about coming, and for me on a show, it's about creating that piece, all of us coming at it the best we know how, and creating something bigger than some of its
And I
parts.
tell you, another part of that is talking to people who've been dominant in their field. No matter what field that is, you can learn from those people. So information, a lot of time, is key to help you in your growth.
Yeah. You sort of explained your definition of it, but do you have, is there another part of your definition of dominance?
Well, I think never quitting.
Yeah.
Never quitting, because you're always faced with obstacles.
Right.
And so a lot of times when people are faced with those obstacles, they don't know how to get over or around it.
Right.
And the key is to that is just figuring it out.
Right.
Find a way to figure it out, because when you quit, that's when you succumb to failure. But man, I just want to say thanks, man. Thanks for doing the show.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. And
It's a pleasure.
that's the dominant ones.